Welcome to Smart Wealth with Joshua.
Your daily stock analysis and catalysts talk. Today we're looking at Iren.
If you find our talks useful, please consider subscribe, like, and comment underneath to support our podcast. And if there's any stock you want us to look into, leave it in the comments section below.
So let's get into the analysis.
Let's do it.
We're discussing a company that is fundamentally reshaping its identity.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, Iren is transitioning so rapidly from a traditional Bitcoin mining operator.
So what some people are calling an AI neocloud, or I guess more simply, a data center infrastructure provider.
And that whole transformation is really underpinned by one massive deal that just validates their entire strategy.
The Microsoft contract.
Yeah.
A multi-year $9.7 billion AI cloud contract.
Yeah, $9.7 billion. That single agreement, it elevates them to a hyperscale grade partner overnight. It provides immense, long-duration, highly visible revenue.
Exactly. And from a fundamental perspective, you can already see the power of this infrastructure model in their metrics.
Oh, for sure. The latest reports show a record trailing 12-month revenue of, $688.5 million.
More impressively, though, their operating leverage is translating into a gross margin that's near 70%.
And a net margin around 76%.
Right, which is pretty incredible.
Those high margins, they really indicate the potential for just massive profitability as they ramp up utilization on these long-term cloud contracts.
And the street is definitely noticing.
Absolutely. Analysts are forecasting the next reported quarter's sales to cluster around $239 million.
And looking further out, 2026 revenue growth is projected to be, I think, 136.3%.
But let's talk about the competitive edge here, the moat. How are they even doing this?
It all comes down to power. Iren controls secured power capacity of approximately 3 gigawatts.
And that is a crucial advantage right now. I mean, there are nationwide interconnect delays and grid constraints.
Exactly. It's limiting how fast the hyperscalers can actually scale their compute on their own.
So Iren also benefits from low-cost and often renewable-heavy energy in these power-advantaged regions.
Which not only structurally lowers their unit costs, but also appeals to those large enterprise partners who are demanding ESG-friendly compute.
And the validation from Microsoft itself, I mean, that creates a super high barrier to entry and a lot of embedded growth opportunities.
For sure. Now let's discuss the risks, because there are several headwinds here, particularly in the short term.
Right. This transition to AI infrastructure, it requires just immense capital expenditure.
And they've executed these large equity and convertible note offerings, raising over $3.6 billion.
And that money is largely to accelerate new data centers like Childress and Sweetwater.
But that capital raising, while it's necessary for growth, it causes temporary pressure on earnings per share and creates dilution.
And we've seen some commentary on this, even from figures like Jim Cramer warning about the risk of overbuilding capacity.
Yeah, he was drawing parallels to the dot-com era, right?
Yeah.
And suggesting investors take some gains.
It's a real concern. We also have to acknowledge the volatility.
Oh, yeah. With a high beta of around 4.2, Iren is extremely sensitive to broader market sentiment.
We saw drops of, 8 to 9% in a single session?
Right, just triggered by sector-wide news like Oracle's results.
And the stock has even recently traded below its latest capital raise price, which can attract some short-term bearish momentum.
That volatility, however, is what creates the opportunity.
Exactly. For long-term investors, anyway. The current trading price is sitting in the mid-30s to low 40s.
And a lot of technicians are interpreting that as a buyable dip into support.
And we're seeing institutional flow support that view. I mean, Barrel Capital Management recently accumulated 400,000 shares,
which signals very high conviction.
So moving to forward-looking catalysts, what should investors be focused on?
A few key dates, I think. We expect a Q4 preliminary operations update around December 10th.
Okay.
And then the next earnings release, the Q3 FY 2026 prelim, is anticipated around February 7th.
And that's where we'll get clarity on the AI cloud service revenue mix.
Exactly. That's the big one. Beyond the calendar, though, there's this high optionality upside.
You mean potential new contracts beyond Microsoft?
Right. Market speculation points toward potential multi-billion-dollar GPU cloud services contracts with another hyperscaler or a lab or even a sovereign AI program.
And any new deal like that could significantly re-rate the stock, especially given that power scarcity advantage they hold.
Which is why the street remains firmly constructive on the long-term thesis.
Yeah, we're seeing analyst price targets clustering between $52 and $73.
With some of those high conviction targets reaching up to 136.
So that suggests a potential upside of, what, 30% over 100% from current levels?
Yeah. The prevailing view seems to be that the market is finally beginning to reframe Iren as a stable AI utility provider, not just a cyclical miner.
So the thesis is pretty clear. It's a high growth, but also high risk story.
Definitely. The near-term volatility and the capital intensity are offset by a validated business model, institutional confidence, and that structural power moat, which is uh, arguably irreplaceable in the current environment.
The takeaway here really is that long-term transformation.
I think so. While the path involves these capital raises and short-term price swings, IRN is strategically positioned for the multi-year boom in AI infrastructure spending.
And that's a growth trajectory that is far more durable than its legacy mining business.
Absolutely.
So for investors who are comfortable with that volatility, the combination of strong financial fundamentals and that scarcity moat makes this a pretty asymmetric opportunity. That's all the time we have for today's analysis. If you found this useful, please remember to hit subscribe and leave a comment to support the show.